Welcome back viewers. In today's video, we are going to check out the system components tab of the Garuda Assistant. So Garuda Assistant offers a system components tab. On that tab, you can do some very critical settings of the system in a very easy way. So here you can see there is some settings for the audio, some settings for the input method, some settings for the virtualization, some settings for the firewall, some settings for the Samba, some settings for the printing and scanning, some settings for the Bluetooth, as well as some video settings are there. So what happens is, when you are a gamer or you are a content creator, you will require all these settings. So in typical Linux distribution, you will have to use the terminal, or you might have to use some app. For example, if you want to install the ALSA support, jack support, pulse audio support, either you can install and configure it using the terminal, or you will install it using some package manager or a software store in a GUI fashion. So you will install the packages first in a GUI fashion, and later on you will do the configuration using the terminal. But here they have given us the quick shortcuts, quick selections using a tick box. For example, in the audio section, the user is already in the real-time group, and this complete system has been already set up by default for the real-time use. So in gaming, real-time is required. In content creation also, the real-time privileges and the real-time settings have to be done. So system is very prompt in giving responses to the user inputs, and there is no lag or very low latency, ultra low latency in the system response. So the user is already in the real-time group. Now suppose you want to do some audio production, then you will require the jack support. So for the jack support, you have to just click here. You might want pulse audio support, and you might not require the pipewire. So pipewire has been now added. Pipewire is the upcoming technology, but in many places the gamers and some of the content creators still prefer the pulse audio, because there are some roughness in the pipewire. So pipewire is still not that mature. So many of the content creators and gamers will want to use the pulse audio support. So for that, you have to just tick here. Some of the content creators or gamers might want the ALSA support. So ALSA is nothing but the advanced Linux sound architecture. So it is a very low level software for the audio needs. So you can also have that, and then you have to just apply it. So you have to give your sudo or the root password, and here you can see there will be some packages that need to be installed. For example, the Zeta ALSA PCMI, Zeta resampler, ALSA support, jack utils, libconfig, libffado, dbus, C++, jack capture, MIDI support, and the ALSA tools and utils will be added. So just a size of 3.09 MB and installation size will be around 11 MB. So you have to just OK this, and the installation will start, and then you have to reboot your system. That's it. So it's very easy. Otherwise, you have to do some commands on the terminal, or you have to visit the software store in a GUI fashion. You have to search the packages, then install them. So you have to remember everything. But here it is done very simple. You have to just select the support that you require, click on the tick box and apply. That's it. And also you can remove that also. So removal is also possible. So here you can see it has been done. Now what we will do is we will go to the firewall. So here the firewall D is the default firewall. It is not enabled by default, but it has been installed, and you can enable it from here. Instead of that, we will go for the universal firewall. So what you have to do is you have to click here and untick here. So the firewall D will be uninstalled, and the universal firewall will be installed. So you have to now apply. Now see what happens, whether the firewall D gets uninstalled or not. So the network manager optionally requires firewall D, that is the firewall support, and the plasma firewall optionally requires the firewall D. So it will basically show, because right now the firewall D is there on the system and it has been configured, though it is not active, but it is there, it installed by default. So here it is showing that the firewall D will be now be removed. So here you can see the removal size is 22.21 MB. So do you want to remove the firewall D and the Python cap ng? So you have to say yes. So every time the installation and installation will go, the snapshots will be taken automatically. Now after the firewall D has been uninstalled, system will now go for the installation of the universal firewall. So the download size is around 0.22 MB and the total installation size will be 0.93 MB. So you have to say yes. It will be a very quick installation. So you can see the system maintenance and the usage task of the Garuda Linux is very easy. The developers have done a lot of work to make the life of end user very easy. And if you want to enable the firewall, you have to just click it here. So the universal firewall will be enabled. You have to just apply and the universal firewall will come up on the screen, I think. Yes, so here it is showing us the service state has been updated. You have to click on that. So the universal firewall is now enabled. Now let us go over to the printing and scanning support. So if you want the printing and scanning support, you have to click here. It is not enabled by default. Only maybe the cups has been sent and the cups send daemon and the cups has been enabled because it is grayed out. So if you want printing support, you have to say yes. If you want the scanning support, you have to say yes. If you want to put the user in the cups group automatically, you have to tick here. If you want to add the user in the system group, you have to add it here. If you want to add the user in the scanner group, you have to add here and you have to just apply. Now see what happens. It will run a script. A terminal will open up. You have to input our password. You can see here it is resolving the dependencies and some packages will be installed. So these are all the packages for the printing support and the scanning support. You have to just say yes and it will install in just one minute or 2 minutes. Meanwhile, we will go ahead. Now you can see here the Bluetooth is enabled by default. The video codecs, that is the GStreamer codecs, are there. There is no facility to add the FFmpeg codecs, so only the GStreamer are there. So sometimes the content creators want FFmpeg, so that has to be added. So but there is no facility right now. So some will prefer the GStreamer, others prefer the FFmpeg. So that is not available here. And in the input method, you can add the different input methods. So input methods are basically there to help you in the fast input. So there is a quick typing in method. Then there are some input methods for the Chinese and the Japanese and Korean languages. So those kind of methods you have to install it here because they have got some special characters that cannot be mapped to any keyboard. So for them, these input methods are available. So I think that's it. And yes, so you can see here the printer is getting added and auto configured. I will just make you go through this. I think it is completed. No. So now after the installation is done, you can see here the user has been added to the cups group, the system group and the printer group. Printer group is the LP group. So it has been added. And the system config printer, that is the GTK based GUI for the printer, is also added. So HP lib, that is the HP printer driver, has been added. Print manager is there. So everything has been auto configured. And even the orphan files have been checked, but no orphan files are there. So everything is done. You can see here the system is ready for the printing. And if you want, we can check it out here. We will just okay, groups were added, so log out. Okay, so what we will do is we will just check whether the printing support is added or not. So let us see. Yes, in the utilities the printer should be there, or we can just type printer. So right now it is not there. I think we should do a yes. So what we will do is we will log out. We'll close this. We should now log out. So we will log out and then log in, and then the printer will come up. Okay, so where is the top panel? Now let us see if the printer is there. Print, let us see. Yes, so now you can see the manage printer cup based web interface has been added. Let it open. We will also check for the HP lib. HP lib should also be there. Okay, DuckDuckGo. So HP lib is not there, but it is installed. The HP driver has been installed. Only the HP lib GUI is not there, but it has been installed. Where is the printer now? Cups printer. It should open the network-based interface. Let us see what happened to the interface. Yes, it is coming up. And right now it will not be able to connect because the virtual machine is not connected here, but it is there. So this is how you have to install. It is very easy to install the cups and the HP printer here in the Garuda Linux due to the availability of such very easy settings in the Garuda Assistant. So I think we will now close the video. We have checked out the system components of the Garuda Linux. So it was very easy to install, uninstall and configure the system components of Garuda Linux using the Garuda Assistant. So bye bye. See you in the next video.